Man, I hope you enjoyed that time lapse, as it's a lot of fun putting these time lapses together so that way you can see what I see. And I can't do this in every mod pack. Sometimes there's incompatibilities that don't allow me to, for example, use either the replay mod or actually join my world via a LAN. But I have been able to do that in this world successfully, and it's been kind of fun being able to do this again. Now, today I have some big plans. I want to expand our power network. As of right now, the real power that we're generating is coming from our thermo generator, which I can now see. It's very hard to see because we're using dark mode. If I change this, we can now see clearly that we are generating 1,120 FE per tick. And I didn't actually realize that originally. This right here is being constantly filled with water. Whenever this drops below a full bucket, drops below a bucket needed, it will then be refilled. It's running perfectly. This is fantastic. And so what I was thinking, how about we expand on our power network, but instead we actually automate our Energizing Orb and we automate the production of these thermal generators. And this is going to be super, super simple to do. And automating the Energizing Orb has never been easier, thanks to things like modular routers. And I did show this sort of pseudo-like automation, but nothing compares to how Applied Energistics can actually automate the Energizing Orb. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to show you how simple this actually is to set up. So really, we just need to have a pattern provider, and then right above it, a modular router that is one block in between. So just like this. And so we have our pattern provider, modular router, and then we're going to go ahead and take out the Cinder module that we had in there originally. We'll come back to the modular router here in a second, but what we're going to be needing to do is place the Energizing Orb upside down on the bottom here. And what this allows to happen is it allows the pattern provider from the bottom to insert into the Energizing Orb. And this makes a much cleaner automation for this, like super, super clean. Now, what we're going to do with the modular router up here is we're going to pull the items out from what is now the bottom of it. And that is going to be auto sent wirelessly back into the pattern provider. This is such a clean automation. So to set up our cards here, we're going to be pulling from the bottom, and that is going to pull the finished products out of the Energizing Orb. And then the sender takes the items that will go into the buffer and needs to send it somewhere. And we're going to send it right back into the pattern provider. And that is as simple as it gets. Of course, we're going to need somewhere to put the energizing rods. For right now, this is going to be a pretty great place. And let's see, I can place them on the wall right here with a cable. We should have a cable laying around. Yeah, let's use these cables, for example. Just like this. Place one here, and then we can use a gate to power these cables. Oh, that is beautiful. And so these are now connected, and all we have to do now is essentially build the patterns and make some speed upgrades for the modular router, so that way it can send and pull these items incredibly quick. Now, I've gone ahead and I've built out all of my patterns for all of the basic kind of power stuff outside of the Nitro, which of course Nitro is the later game. It does require Nether stars, and we haven't done Nether stars just yet. So here we go. We just place the patterns in the pattern provider, and then I do recommend changing one mode, and that is until until primary result is returned. And then once that happens, this thing will then just rapid fire. It is very, very quick. As soon as we get with the modular router set up, as soon as we get like the max speed upgrades, which is 9 of them, by the way. So I can now craft those, put the speed upgrades in, and we are ready to craft. Now, we're not going to have max speeds until, well, we have enough power going in. But for right now, these hardens should be more than enough to kind of get us down the road, you could say. So, power. I've got most of these things auto-crafted. Now what I've got to do is kind of auto-craft or set up the crafting recipes for things that I really, really want. Like maybe the cables and also maybe the gates. And I can also go ahead, for example, and make the thermo generator. Like we can go even up to, I would say spirited, but I don't think we have the power just yet. I mean, we definitely should actually start working towards increasing our rods. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea as well. Okay, but I know you want to see it, so let's actually go ahead before we do that, and let's request, like, I don't know, some blazing crystals. And whenever we request them, you're going to see that it goes in and then charges up, and as soon as it's done, it gets pulled into here and then sent back immediately. So fast so that you can't even see it switching positions, even though it definitely is. You can see the flicker happening. And that, my friends, is how easy it is to automate, for example, the Energizing Orb with Applied Energistics. Like a very, very small part of today's episode, but a very, very powerful part of today's episode. 100% that pun was intended. Yeah. Now, when I do get into crafting the rod, something I do want to mention in regards to several of the things involving power and other mods that we may dive into in the future, when building on a pattern, something you want to make sure to have checked for some things is substitutions enabled. For example, if we want to utilize the already existing rods that we have in an autocraft, well, we need to have the substitutions enabled clicked because these are going to have power associated with them. So this will allow the craft to use things that have power in them and other MBT data potentially, or any data, I guess, that may be different from what JEI holds. Now, I don't recommend this for everything because you don't want to like be destroying glass, for example, that you made with a bunch of dye that you want to keep around for building and not exactly use in an autocraft. So keep in mind your substitutions are kind of important. Use them as needed. And just to put this in perspective, these are all patterns for just power alone. That's not even counting the patterns that I've just placed in here. Just goes to show like how much manual crafting actually has to take place in order to make these thermo generators. So yeah, there's a reason why they do produce as much power as they do. But yeah, they come at the cost of extensive amounts of time in the crafting table. But not now, because we have the beautiful auto crafting. And now we can actually explore and do things that I actually want to do. Or I can just sit here and continue to auto craft all day long. Yeah, I'll do that. No, but in all seriousness, I do want to go exploring today a little bit. So I do want to get some power, like I said, set up, get all of these patterns in, and get started on this process, as it is kind of repetitive. Like there's not really a whole lot of amazingness that's happening in this outside of how we're going to set up our ultimate structure. But yeah, I do want to go out and see if we can find maybe some cool things in the Nether today. I would love to potentially discover that. I don't know. I have no idea what to expect. There's a lot of mods in here I am familiar with. Like Dungeons Arise, I think, is a big one. And there's a lot of really cool structures in there that do have quite a plethora of loot. And I'm always down to find new and interesting spell books from Ars. And now that we have our insane destruction, our insane like attack spell, I think we're going to be fine taking on just about anything. Now I've started to upgrade things, and I'm taking a look here at our crafting plan for crafting up a spirited version, which is all the way up to the emerald, so past the diamond, which we already have. This would be the highest that we can go before going into nitro, which requires nether stars. But this one right here, 800 FE per tick, and I'm assuming that we are going to get the same bonuses from the last one. So we're looking at almost double the amount. So about 2,200, I'm going to assume, is how much this one thermo is going to be able to produce. And judging by the resources needed, which is nice that we can see all of this, I mean, a couple of emeralds, a few diamonds, like this is very, very doable. 70 redstone essentially needed here. And that's basically it. And I'm assuming we also have like quite a few of the base resources already as well. So not too much either of the dielectric paste, which I did set up by the way, to be crafted with lava buckets. So if you have lava in your system, you don't even need to craft lava buckets. It will just go ahead and know, hey, we have lava in here. So because of that, it can just pull it directly out of the disk instead of crafting a bucket. So all this machine essentially needs is a block of blazing crystal underneath it, and it needs to be on top. And then we just need to feed it water. Now, I can feed multiple machines with water by using the same mechanic that we were using for the other one. And I honestly feel like these little subnet things are kind of cool. And we can do up to 8 per basic subnet without adding a controller to it. But if we added a controller, then we can have like 32 times 6 connected, which is just honestly a ton. But just 8 alone is going to be tons and tons of power. And so let's go ahead and get that set up. We just need a storage bus, and I think the cleanest way to do that is to have a storage bus on top that is looking for a place to put things. And the only thing that is going to go in there right now is water, but we've got to get the water hooked up. So in the back, I can go ahead and just have a simple little water thing that is going to be pulling from. So I'm thinking like right here in the corner, it's probably going to be a good spot, and I can hide that easily. I just love showing off these little features too, right? If you have water in here, you can just pull a bucket out, given that you have a bucket inside of your inventory. I mean, it just makes setting things like this up incredibly easy. And then we just need to run the cable over here. Oh, it does sound like we have water spilling out. That's not good. Oh, that's because this is a slab. Oh, of course. All right, let's go ahead and grab that. That's a weird interaction happening there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's turn this into a regular block instead. Beautiful. All right. And we won't have water spilling out everywhere. But we just need an infinite water source. Perfect. For our annihilation plane to work off of. And then we can give this power by placing it right there. And then I'm just going to run my cable through this. And we can have this just line up right into the back. So power for this, it's very cheap. We don't even need hardly any power. And we could probably run this off of the Applied Energistics crystal resonant generators, which don't require any power at all. So long as we have an infinite water source here, which from the looks of it, I did not do this one either. Oh, of course, that is not an infinite source, but let's make it one. Just like this. There we go. And cap that off. Okay. So yeah, now that that is there, we now have water going in, and beautiful. It's now generating power. And if we go ahead and change the dark mode, yes, we are now producing like double the amount that the latter tier was producing. And this is craziness. 2,240 FE per tick from just one. And now we can just keep making more of them, because the more power we have, the better things are going to be, right? Like the more power we're going to be able to produce. Now the max transfer, the max extract is 32,000 FE per tick from here. So whenever we hook a gate up to this, we want to make sure that we can pull that power out. And I think the Niotic is going to be the best tier for hooking to this, because it has a transfer rate of 50. So by connecting there, we now can feed that power into anything that needs it. And we have that big storage buffer that this also has. It's going to store quite 8 million FE per tick. It's like a giant battery as well, allowing us to pull that 32,000 out when needed. And then just to add another one, well, you just need a storage bus. I mean, that's basically our water pipe setup here. So if I add this, then our fluid will start running, and we should start seeing water like just casually building up in here. And it's not going to run. It's not going to like cause any ticking or anything crazy like that, because it's only going to pull the water out whenever it feels like it needs it, like whenever it sees that there is space for water to go. Now with 5 of them set up and constantly running, I'm generating about 11,200 RF per tick just from these alone. So this is a lot of power, and is going to be very, very helpful, considering just to move channels around our base, it costs about 500 RF per tick. per setup. You can see right here that does vary depending on the distance. So over here, it may cost a bit more actually for these wireless connectors, but that's the primary need right now for my power. And we're going to be definitely making more power in the future. But for right now, the wireless connectors being able to be accessed right here. I also moved a setup over here. So I made another wireless one. They're super easy now to auto craft. So I don't have to worry too much at all about, the whole setup. And I started to expand the controller, and this may look really weird. But a controller is essentially just I just need to be able to place more of these wireless connectors, and also potentially place in some point-to-points later on down the road, or P2Ps, as essentially that's what this controller is used for in the first place. And you definitely don't have to stick with the standard cube. You don't have to do that. You can make it all kinds of different designs, but there are a couple of things you have to keep in mind. You can't have three connecting intersections. So for example, the way for me to break this whole setup is if I was to have a cross that ran here and a cross that ran this way, this whole thing would just turn red. So if it turns red, then it is not going to function. So you have to kind of figure this out. And the max size that it can be is 7 by 7 by 7. Something else to kind of note. Now, since I want to do some exploring, I want to actually expand. And this is why I moved my system over here, is because down on the bottom here, I want to set up my first quantum link chamber. And this is what you would typically use to access your applied energistics system cross-dimensionally or just over a large distance in the overworld. But we're going to be using it to make our terminal completely cross-dimensional. So I now have the quantum tunneling advancement, and I just crafted up the quantum ring. So the quantum ring consists of a couple of things. It's actually not that challenging to craft. I'm going to place the link right here. And I don't even think this costs a channel to run. And you can lay it on its side. You can lay it going up and down. But I want it to look like this, connected to the bottom. This is mostly for looks. And right down here is where you put your singularity. I'm also going to need a quantum bridge card. This thing right here. And this beautiful little quantum bridge card is what's going to allow us to link our stuff together. Now we should get that auto-crafted. Yeah, there it goes. It's starting to work. It's taking some time. It's got to process up, but beautiful. Now we have this, and this can go in this slot up here. And when we put it in, notice we get a new inventory slot, and that inventory slot looks just like this one. That's because we need to make our first quantum entangled singularity. And the way that you make a quantum entangled singularity is by placing down some TNT, and I'm going to be using the tiny TNT from Applied Energistics to create a smaller explosion. But I'm going to be tossing into the same block a singularity and an ender pearl, and I just need to give this a redstone signal, step back, and watch the magic happen. Beautiful. Okay, what we don't want to lose, though, are these two entangled singularities. So these are now linked to each other. That's why they stack. And they're bound together. And this is how you would bind two locations together. So let's head back. And then I just need to place this inside here, one of them, and then one inside my terminal, like so. And now we're connected. But this is not connected up yet. So let's grab some cable. And like I said, just for looks, I want this to be connected on all sides, as if it's being held up by that bottom section there. And once this is ready to go, you'll see this is now powered and we have access to our terminal. But the big way to test, right, is by going cross-dimensional, like for example, going to the Nether. So let's head to the Nether and seeing if we can still access our terminal. Now you have to make sure that that is chunk loaded. And if that remains chunk loaded, you should be fine. But can I now access my terminal? I can. That is how cool the quantum bridge card is. And so now we have access to it, and it's going to make exploring even more fun. Something to note with power, it costs about 300 and almost 400 FE per tick to run that quantum ring. So yeah, you do need some power, in which we do. So we are setting pretty good right now. This is also, by the way, not only cross-dimensional, but now absolute unlimited distance away so we can access this anywhere in the overworld too. Now, I do want to go exploring a little bit, and so here I am in the Nether. Ah, yes. I do need to find some bastions. I think that would be a good idea, kind of exploring. I also probably should grab some more glowstone while I'm here. But the main thing, I do want to get a smithing template, like just a regular smithing template for future endeavors. I'm almost positive we're going to need something related to it, like some netherite gear that we're going to have to craft, and that all requires a smithing template. So, treasure bastion? Question mark? Here I come. That's what I'm after. Now, I have no idea if we're going to need, for example, a treasure bastion or not. We might actually find it somewhere else. Like there's these towers that are in here. That's a smithing template, but that's not the normal one. That's a ribbed trim. A ribbed armor trimmed named smithing template. Wait, is this actually the smithing template? It just has a different texture that I'm just not used to. No, that's a ribbed. Wait, this is the smithing template. Oh my gosh. So we just found it. I am not used to that. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, there we go. So I guess I don't have to find a treasure bastion. It was literally located right inside of this. Ooh, along with this. So I guess if you didn't find one right away, you might be able to find one of these towers. That is super cool. Well, I've got that achievement done. Well, that was very anticlimactic, to be fair. Now, this shouldn't be anticlimactic because this is where you would find those what are they called? I have to actually pull this guy up. I'm gonna try and use this spell on it. But yeah, I should be able to break this guy open. I want to see how much damage this guy does. Holy moly. That's a lot. But how well does our spell actually interact with this guy? It does 0 damage to him, I think. At least it looks like it's doing 0 damage. I mean, it'll probably damage the wither skeleton. But this guy... Whew. It's dealing 0 damage. Huh. I wonder what kind of damage this thing would need to receive damage from. Like a damage type. Interesting. I mean, this guy is going to end up destroying me. But this guy does drop ancient debris. Like, I think it's a 100% guaranteed drop. Oh, the animations are so cool. I still love them. I love them so much. But yeah, I think we would need like actual spells from iron spells to really take this guy out. Oh wow, what is this? Wait, this is a trial spawner? Oh, it's a trial spawner that just spawns these things? Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, we definitely need to get better prepared with like actual iron spells, I think, before we try this fully. I wonder though, like what's in here? Is there anything in here? Man, just a lot of them. Wow, okay. But I mean, you gotta think, each one of these things that spawn, I mean, they produce, they drop netherite scrap, so I mean a pretty decent way of farming them. I still managed to find a bastion, and I should probably loot this up a little bit. The cool thing is my spell, oh goodness, it is so, okay, let's just dash. My spell should work wonders on these guys actually. Well, if I die, okay. Woo! I mean, it should take these guys out. Let's try it again. Okay, so it freezes them. It took their health all the way down. Okay, so it just doesn't work on some of these guys. Oh, man. All right, what do we got in here? We have a special... Okay, this is something I'm definitely after, is artifacts. So we'll get the heart artifact. This is another smithing template. Okay, so maybe this isn't the smithing template. No, this is the one we need. But do they all work the same way? Wow, that takes all 50 of their health. That is absolutely crazy. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe all of these work as smithing templates, or is it exclusive to this? Because it shows this upgrading all of this stuff and this just trimming. Ah, yeah, so we still need this smithing template. I'm still getting used to the whole, like, trim thing. It's still all new to me. You gotta keep in mind, this is a new version of Minecraft that I have not really gotten to play fully with. And another bad thing, this is not the bastion I actually need. Ooh, but I'll take all of that. Okay, what is this? Reflecting necklace. Okay. 10% damage accumulated in an internal buffer of the relic. Ah, so it's something we can like cast. Okay. That's a pretty cool little thing. Very nifty. Yeah, this spell works really, really well in vanilla mobs. Look at that. Just gone. Just absolutely gone. Oh, in this chest I just got the spectral hammer. And I don't know if this has a level up. Oh, it does. So this keeps going higher and higher. I don't know what the max tier is. Is it literally just 6? It looks like Spectral Hammer 5 is the max. 5 by 5 by 6 area that it clears out. And is a mining tool. It is a pretty, I think in my opinion, it's a pretty cool one. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the bastion that I actually need in order to find that template. From what I remember, unless it's going to be down here. No. This is not the correct one, unfortunately. Oh, sad. Yeah, and I'm almost positive we don't find it in like chests like this. Ooh, we got the vampiric glove. I think I already have that one though. Yeah, nope, this is definitely not it. Okay, so, yes, smithing templates do show up in these towers. I just found one that I thought was, oh my goodness. I thought this was like an entrance to one of the bastions. No. This is another one of the towers that gets added. And it has 4 actual smithing templates in it. Okay. So I was wondering if these would actually have templates in them or not, as that other one had a different variant of templates. So I don't know if it's specific to this type. This one was a little bit harder to see, actually. But I was on my way to looking for a regular treasure bastion, but they can be kind of hard to find. I will say that. Treasure bastions are not something that you just stumble right upon every time. And when I'm saying treasure bastions, by the way, what I'm meaning by that is it's the bastion that has the gold in the bottom of it, with the center where there's a bunch of spawners. For example, it'll have the magma cream spawners. Yeah, that's the one. Ooh, I'm gonna take that bed. I like that bed. I love how he just took a bed that's essentially a bed dyed with black dye, just because of the texture pack. You know what? It's the small things that matter. But now I can effectively say that I have the smithing templates. Another way that you can actually get smithing templates, which is kind of interesting, is by summoning in a possessed hoglin. There's a chance of getting it, but you can mob swab that and get the spawn egg and turn it into an actual spawner. Yeah, then you would be able to get these for days. Like smithing templates can definitely come from this right here. Pretty interesting with that possessed hoglin. But that does, of course, require a bit of, well, progression through the Occultism mod, which is going to bring us, when we dive into it, back into this dimension. Oh, man. One of my favorite parts of that mod, to be fair. Sarcasm. So now that I'm back, man, what a shot this is. Holy smokes. Being able to see this from a distance like that, oh, that is beautiful with the god rays shining through. Oh man, I do want to add some things to the bottom. There is going to be some things that we definitely get added to the bottom eventually. Oh man, but that's such a pretty shot. So today was filled with a lot of exploration and, well, also technology. We gained quite a bit of power, and we also gained access to our storage, which is really, really huge, cross-dimensionally and unlimitedly throughout the overworld. So that is a huge upgrade, allowing exploration to be a lot more seamless, allowing me to collect the items and just immediately put them into my storage here, and also access things if need be, so I don't have to travel back and forth. Very, very, very handy. And guys, if you did enjoy and you learned something new during this episode, make sure that you've clicked that subscribe button and give this video, of course, a huge thumbs up. Now, comment down below if there was something that I missed in today's episode or something you would love for me to know about. I love reading you guys' comments and I look forward to them every single day. So if that is something you're interested in, comment down below. And guys, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Admirable Walrus. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and of course supporting in one of the best ways possible. I thank you all so very much. I look forward to seeing you, of course, in the next one. And you know how it goes. As always, thanks for watching. Bye!